With some of the recent xTool Studio updates, there are some huge new features that have been implemented into the software. And today I'm going to be taking you through some of my favorite features. We're going to run through how they work and how to actually use them. And I've also got a massive update at the end of this video for a new series that's coming, so stick around for that. But without further ado, let's get straight to it. So here we are in xTool Studio. We're going to start a new project, and the first update I'm going to show you is to do with the preview box. I'm going to give you a live example. So xTool have updated two really great things. So I'm going to demonstrate the first one for you right now. We're going to pick a random vector out of this, and you can see it's lots of different individual parts. I will change the layer color so you can see it. So what you can do now is once you've set your material, so in this case, we're going to set it to wood. What you can do now in the preview tab, it's completely overhauled and it looks completely different. You've now got the option, as you can see, to kind of have a real good example. If you're thinking that's it, it's not, okay? And I'm going to show you why. This is great because ultimately it doesn't just show the actual material. It shows the different color engraving styles, and I'm setting different things, as well as, and I'll show you something here. If we set these to cut, it also does a cut element. So what we're going to see now, look, you can see the bits that are getting cut out, and look at the different shades of colors. You've got the lighter ones I've selected, you've got the darker. So this preview tool is now really, really interactive and actually very intuitive. And here is a really extreme example for you. We're doing a cut on everything. We're going to hit the preview button, and you can see, look, it will show you exactly what is going to be cut out, what's going to be left. So if you're a visual person who needs to see things and see what they're going to look like, this is a really amazing addition. So there is also another really great preview thing that they have added. So the next bit is to do with inner engraving. And as you can see, we have our point cloud in there, and you can get a good idea of what it looks like. But now if you click that same preview button, what you will find is it gives you a really good idea of how it's going to look. And you can actually select different lightings to really tell. And this is a great way to just refine it, get it set up before you engrave it, so you can have a really, really good idea of what it will look like. The second update that I want to tell you about is to do with material libraries. This is a long overdue one, and I'm very, very happy about it. If we click in the material library section, you have your standard xTool ones. But if you click on the My Materials tab, which is right there, it will show you the list of materials that you might have edited over the time or set up yourself. You can see I've got loads in mine. They're all stored in the cloud, but if you lose access to the internet, you would lose access to these. So you now have the option, if you click on that manage button there, it will bring up a new window, and you've got two options now. You can move them over to the local area, and you can select all here, and then down here in the bottom right, you can sync to local or export. So this is great for two reasons. Number one, you can have them available offline. If you're taking your laptop somewhere where you don't have the internet, like a trade show or something, then they're all available offline. But the other really good thing, and I recommend you do this, you can select all, select export, and then you can export your settings, save them somewhere, back them up, and you can import them anytime you need to. That's a really good update, and I'm very happy they have implemented that one. So the next one is regarding saving of files. So when you save a file in xTool Studio, you obviously have to click on File, and you can save local, save as. And when you do that, it asks you if you want to save to MySpace or save locally. If you're anything like me, I always save locally because I want it accessible. But saving to MySpace is quite a good thing. And that's because it puts everything in one area. But xTool have now added something. And if we go over here on the left, you'll see MySpace. They've now added something where you can have a local space. And this is really good because you're no longer tied to the cloud. You can have the software search for a folder area where you save all your files and have them easily accessible. So let me show you how that works. So we're going on to local space up here. Then you'll see right here, it says add local folder. So we'll select that. And once you've done that, you can select your folder. I have this one here, so I'm going to select folder. And now you will see it scans the folder for all applicable files. And then look, within the MySpace area on your local space, you now have quick, easy access to all of your files. You can see all of mine right there, which I find is absolutely amazing because the amount of times I spend looking for files. This is going to make life much easier for us. So moving on to the fourth update that I want to tell you all about, and this is something that's really beneficial. I'm going to demonstrate it now by opening a file I've set up previously. When I open it, you should see something happen eventually when it opens. Look at this. You now have something called project notes. And for this one, I put, for this material, make sure you defocus the laser by 2mm, just in case you've forgotten. And then in brackets, you probably have, because I probably have. That means add 2mm on top of the focus number. So I have set up the software to pop up that box anytime I open this project. It's really good if you're doing glass or something and you've got a specific routine you like to follow. Once again, you can also do it. So if you click process, the same note comes up. If you're wondering how to set that up, I will show you now. So within our workspace here, on the left-hand side, you will see there is a project notes area. You can select that and it will bring up your project note box like this. You can type whatever you want like this. And then you've also got the option to pop up when opening file or remind me before processing. This is project specific, so you can have a different one per project. And in my opinion, it's excellent because it helps the workflow. You don't have to retain that knowledge every time. You can have a reminder, you can do it, and you can hit the ground running, and it saves you so much time. So the next one is regarding project nodes, and in particular, the vector tool. So if you're not sure what the vector tool is, if you come over here, you can see there is a little pen and vector, and this basically allows you to draw around shapes in different ways. And what they've actually done is made this more intuitive. So what I'm going to quickly do for you is I'm going to draw around this, and then I'm going to demonstrate exactly what this can do. So as you can see, this is a really good way of taking custom shapes and just drawing around something so that you can engrave a really specific shape to a really specific item. There you go. I've finished that there. Now, if we go up to the top up here, you'll see it looks different. There is now insert, delete, break, scissor. They were not there before, and these are now really, really good things. And I'll show you how they work. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is simplify this, and I'm going to just drag it there. And as you can see, what it's now done is add curves to everything. That's a pretty standard thing that was there before. However, if we go back in, if you actually wanted to refine a shape even more, so this bit here, what you can do now is there is an insert button. So you can select that, and then anywhere along the line, select it, and it will insert a point. And then what you can do is drag that point. As you can see, you can rotate it around with the handles, and you can just make it a little bit more complicated or fit whatever it is you're trying to do. The other thing you can now do is delete points. There's a delete button next to it. You can select it, and as you can see, it will delete a point. So if you think you've done too many, like this one here, we'll select it. Really, really useful. So as you can see, that adds a lot of flexibility into that pen tool, and it will allow you to get more customized shapes in an easier, quicker way. So the next update is a really simple one, but it's one that you'll find really useful if you work with vectors. So you see here, I have a jigsaw puzzle, and there are lots of different lines. If I try to ungroup these, you'll see it splits it up into lines, but I can't split it any more than that. Well, what I can now do is if we go over here on the left-hand side and we go on our shapes area, there is now a trim tool. So if you select it, what you can do, you'll see as you hover over any of these lines, it goes red. You just select it and it can now cut those lines out. So you could, in this case, I could make larger custom jigsaw pieces. But it doesn't just work on things like this. I'll give you another example. You can actually use the trim tool to make things cut out from each other. So here is our jigsaw. Here is a thing saying subscribe, and please do subscribe if this is helpful to you. You'll see we have some parts of the jigsaw overlapping the text. What you could actually do is get the trim tool, and if you hover over it, you'll see where the text goes over that line, it sees that as a trimmable line, the same here. But you could get really creative here and make things overlap and cut them out where they are. And it's just a really cool way of doing it. And as you can see, it has trimmed those lines out underneath. It's just another thing that you can potentially do to make something even more unique than what it already is. Now, the next one is good if you need to mark things or serialize things or do some kind of sequential marking. This is a really good thing that you can do. And I'm going to show you the preview first, just to show you the kind of thing you can get. So look at these. These are all individually part numbered sequentially, automatically, and they each have a separate QR code. I'll quickly show you how that works. So we're going to just draw a vector in this case, and it will be just any size. And then we're also going to put some text in. I'm going to put part number. So once we've done that, we will put it there. I'm going to make it engrave. And what we'll do is drag a box around it, right click, and at the top, you will now see something that says set variable. So we are going to set that. You'll probably get a load of tutorial instructions up first. Basically going to ask you what parts you want to be variables. We want the text and the vector shape. So we're going to select next. And now over here, if I zoom in, you can change the name of this field to whatever you want, and you can click confirm, and then that's the name of that variable field. This one, you can also do the same, and you can also select the variable type. So I'm going to put QR code, and I'm going to click this arrow here, and there is the option for QR code. So if we select that, you can select the sequence of which it does it. There's loads of variable data here that you can update. I'm going to keep it generic. So what you can also do with part number, actually, before I carry on, is you can select custom sequence. So if you have a specific part number in, you can say how many zeros you want at the start. I want no zeros. You can have the initial value. So if I put part like that, and then the step size, and then you can have a suffix. So I'll put UK. And now if I click OK, it means every single part number it does is going to come out like that. So if we hit a plus, you'll see it is now doing sequential part numbers, and each one is a different QR code. So let's do that. And we'll do 10, or we've got 11 in this case because it started at 0. Once you've got that selected, click the confirm button, and you'll see here, you've only got one thing at the moment. But what you can do now is you can position it where you want, copy and paste it, and you'll see it says part number 2, QR code 2. We can do that 10 times if we want, and you can automate this by inputting Excel spreadsheets as well. I'm not going to show you that, but xTool have released a video showing how to do it. So if we go and hit that preview button, what you'll see now is that we have got an example, and this is the new preview window I showed you earlier, of our 9 individually generated QR codes with our part numbers that we've specified as well. So you could really make this use if you're marking parts for people, or if you're serializing things. This is a really useful thing to do that. I'll do a further tutorial in the future going into better detail with it. So subscribe if you want to make sure you watch that. And then the next one, this is another really cool thing that xTool have put in there. So if you put an image into anything, what you can now do is select the edit button at the top, and you will then see on the left-hand side over here, something called warp has been added. And this is something that's in a lot of photo editing software, and it will create a grid with lots of dots. And then what you've got the option to do, and I'll quickly show you, there are preset shapes here. Look, you can do arcs, you can do flags, you can do wave. These are different things, but if you want to customize it and reset the shape like that, what you can actually do is grab these handles and just do what you need to do with it. You can really have some fun and make some unique modifications. And you're probably wondering, where can you use that? Well, there might be loads of situations. Logos are one, but I mean, you can have fun in this case here as well. If we select Vegeta and we warp, you can see what I've previously done is you can make his legs longer or shorter, and you can adjust it. Once again, it's something very niche, but it is something that you might need to do one time, and knowing that you can do it is a really good benefit. And it's a great thing for xTool to add in. So I'm sure you'll agree there are some amazing new features and things added to xTool Studio there. That's one of the things I love the most. It is an ever evolving software which gets easier and more functional for us users. So now for that big announcement I wanted to tell you about. Well, you're probably aware that I've previously done an xTool Studio tutorial series. Since so many new features have been recently added to xTool Studio, and it's so much more different and powerful now, I have decided to do a brand new, refreshed, uplifted xTool Studio tutorial series. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want those lessons. They'll be coming almost immediately. But thank you so much for watching today, guys. I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think is the best feature that's been added. Take it easy, and I'll see you again soon.